Every night at exactly 12, Alina pushed open the old wooden door of the Midnight Café, a tiny hidden corner shop tucked between two abandoned bookstalls as if it didn't belong to the rest of the city. Most people didn't even know it existed, but for Alina it had become the only place where the world felt quiet enough for her thoughts to breathe. The warm smell of coffee, the dim golden lamps, the soft humming of an old jazz record, all of it felt like a blanket wrapped around wounds she never spoke about. She always chose the same table by the window, not because the view was special, but because she liked watching the street lights blur when her eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. On the 15th night of this routine, she noticed someone she had never seen before, a boy sitting alone in the far corner, staring at a cold cup of coffee as if it held all the answers he had been running from. He had dark hair that fell slightly over his eyes, and there was something heavy about the way he breathed, as if every inhale was a battle and every exhale a surrender. Alina tried not to stare, but something about him felt familiar, like she had seen pain shaped exactly like that before in her own reflection. She thought it would be just one random encounter, but the next night he was there again, same corner, same untouched coffee. And then the next night, and the next. They never spoke, never exchanged glances, yet an invisible thread began to tighten between them, pulling their broken pieces quietly toward each other without either of them realizing it. On the 23rd night, the thread that had been silently tugging between them finally pulled tight enough to break the distance. Alina was stirring her coffee absent-mindedly, staring at the swirling cream as if it might reveal something about her life, when she heard a soft voice near her table, a hesitant, almost trembling, "Is this seat taken?" She looked up and saw him, the boy from the corner, standing with a nervous half-smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. She shook her head, and without asking anything else, he sat down, placing his untouched cup of coffee between them like a fragile bridge. For a long moment neither of them spoke. The silence felt comfortable, as if both their souls were catching their breath in the same place. Eventually he said, "I've seen you here every night." She nodded quietly. Then he added, "You look like someone who understands what it feels like to lose something important." And the way he said it made her chest tighten. Alina wanted to stay guarded, but something about his voice, gentle yet cracked, felt safe in a way she hadn't felt in months. So she said softly, "You too." That small exchange opened a door either of them knew they had been knocking on for weeks. They talked for hours, not about themselves, not about what hurt them, but about little things like the way the city sounded at night, the books they pretended to finish but never did, the dreams they once had but misplaced along the way. And when the clock hit 3 a.m., and he finally stood up to leave, he paused at the door and turned toward her with a look that held more meaning than any confession. "I'll see you tomorrow," he said. For the first time in months, Alina felt the faint flicker of something she thought she had lost forever, hope. The next night, Alina arrived early, her heart beating with a nervous excitement she hadn't felt in years. But when the clock struck midnight, the cafe door didn't open. She waited, telling herself he was just late. But the minutes kept slipping, the bell stayed silent, and the chair across from her remained painfully empty. By 3 a.m., she left with a knot in her chest, convincing herself he'd return the next night. But he didn't.